Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're doing the Orphan Block Challenge. And this is one of the blocks that I normally come in here and I sit and I sew and I use up my fabric. And I'm going to show you in two different sizes, one using 2.5-inch strips because everybody has been asking for more blocks that I use up my 2.5-inch strips on, and the 1.5-inch strips in case you like a smaller scale. I'll also show you all the quilts I made from that Orphan Block Challenge by just taking all those blocks and sewing them together at the end of this. But first I want you to go check out Kelly at Pages 3 Stitches. Now her YouTube channel link is going to be in the show notes below, as well as our own Facebook group where you can come and join and share pictures and chat with all the ladies. We have a making use of the rooms feature, so you can actually go in and, you know, like have fun meeting other members in their rooms and sewing with them. The other thing in the show notes below you're going to find is a Zoom link. Now that Zoom link will get you in touch with our monthly meetings, and it'll show you the dates from now until the end of December as to when we're getting together and sewing. So just be mindful of that. It'll be they're a lot of fun. Okay, so before we get any further, I want to show you how to make this block, and this is how I laid it out. So I'm just going to hold it here for a little bit so you guys can get a chance to stop the video and I'll show you all this stuff. Okay, come on in. We got some sewing to do. Okay, we're at the sewing machine, and this is how I would lay out my blocks. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm doing a stack of them, right? Like I've got this many layers as I want in a block. Now, it doesn't matter if you sew them so they rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. As long as you do them all the same, it's not a problem. So this one goes clockwise, right? And it ends up here. So the first thing we're going to do, these all start in the middle. So we're just going to push this out of the way, and we're going to do a bit and then put it back so you can actually see what I'm working with here. And I know some of you had asked not to do leaders and enders, but I would do, like I say, several of these at once. So that's why I would have this all lined up. Oops, okay, it goes like so. So we're getting lots of little 4-patches done, or 4-patch wannabes done. Now, I am just pressing this to the dark because the red in the center is the darkest. Now I'm going to put it back, and now the next one we sew is this. And okay, now I also, when I'm doing this, I cut my pieces to the right side because I want them. What will happen is if you don't do that, at some point things start getting a little out of line, and that's not good. That's not good. This is where you have problems putting your blocks together because something will stretch and it doesn't work right. It's not good. None of that's good. So I cut them to size, and then I leave it like a pantry item. So when I get enough different variety of things going on, I can sit down and I can do a bunch of, like, make essentially orphan blocks, which I don't make into quilts, which is like bizarre. So I'm just going to finger press this over this way and put it back so the light is touching the light. Okay, that's how you keep doing this. So yeah, this way is just really simple. You just turn it over and you make sure you line up your edges. Nice. Get a nice seam going that way. When we're filming this, we just came back from Kananaskis country, which was absolutely outstandingly beautiful. And we saw wild horses, and we saw how the province of Alberta now is starting to build those wildlife overpasses, so you know that they go over the highway so people aren't running down deer and sheep and goats and whatnot. And we also saw 2 bears, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we put this back just like so, right? just like so, and then we're going to put the next log on, because that's what they're called. They're called logs. So, and this pattern is with 2.5-inch strips, and I'll give you measurements for both the 1.5-inch strip and a 2.5-inch strip, because they work up really quick. And you make the best. Oops, I got too many here. There we go. Yeah, this is kind of cute fabric. I'm kind of glad though it's getting used up. All these little 4-passes are technically, I'm making more orphan blocks as we go along on this orphan block challenge, but that's okay. They're all going to charity, so that's good. You know, so anyway, so you just press this open like so. Now you get the next piece, right? Okay, and you move that like so. This is a good way too of using up a whole bunch of odds and sods of leftover bits. Now the hardest thing about this is keeping it all going the right direction. That's it. That's the big trick here. There. Just quickly line them up. Now, okay, there we go. Get that off. Now, this is the other thing. You're always crossing two seams, right? Once you're past a certain point, like once you're past this point here, you're going past two seams. Like once you're past this little line here in here. So then, okay, let me just get this finger pressed out of the way. So there we go. So you could continue on here for quite a ways and go around and around and around. And there's quilts that actually show you how to do that. But when you cut those pieces to the right size, you're always putting the block back into square. Like this is going to finish at 10.5, right? So, I mean, and 10.5 is a good size for a log cabin. It's not too big. Ah, and what has happened to my stitching? Okay. Did that mess up? No, let's get this a little further along here and we'll see if it messed it up. No, it didn't. Well, that was weird. That was a weird little thing. I'm gonna really wait for my mom's sewing machine to be back. Yeah, she's my mom's machine is at the spa at the moment. And I always worry that these guys are going to drop her or something, you know, when she's not here. I know it's silly, isn't it? You know, but I love that sewing machine so much. And that was the one I was taught on. It's a Singer 301A. This one is a Singer 301A too, but you can tell the sound is quite a bit different on this, right, than the other one. Okay, give it a quick finger press, put it back. We only got 2 more logs to do, right? It didn't look like it was all going to fit, didn't it? It's just like, look, what a mess. That is not going to work. And a lot of you are probably like, yeah, that's not working. That's not going to work, Brenda. But it does. It all goes in very quickly. And you get a lot of eclectic fun stuff going on. Why is this thing giving me grief? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, maybe this one needs to go to the spa next. Okay, well, if that's the case. Alrighty. Okay. So, let's get this last little... Now, when I'm sewing up matched pairs of the Leader Ender project I'm working on is little 4 patches. So when I'm sewing them up in pairs, I want to leave them in as pairs, right? Well, that's weird that that did that. It looks okay from the front and the back. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, last one on is this log here. That's the 10.5-inch log. And now I start to see, my 1/4 inch is off a little bit here. Do you see that? It's okay on this side, but not okay on this side. So I'm going to sew this with the longer piece on the bottom. Now, that being said, I'm just going to get the design board out of the way. Now, what happens is your feed dogs will do the work for you. All you have to do is sew straight. And you line this up, these two ends up like so. And there is, you put a little bit of resistance, not a lot. And what will happen is that feed dog, I'm going to line up both sides, that feed dog will just sew it in, nice and neat, and it won't look like it was like a little bit more than a 1/4 inch longer. That technique is called easing in, and it's so simple. You just saw me do it. It is one of those techniques that a sewer learns very quickly, just to ease in the fabric. And there. And the last one to go through. Okay, now we're going to get to our ta-da moment. I'm going to give this thing a quick press, and we'll get to our ta-da moment, and it'll look great. Okay, so this is the block we made. And it was it's a cute little log cabin. It's 10.5 inches square. It looks great. It's pantry item sizes that you can keep in your sewing room. And all those cutting instructions for the 2.5 inch strips and the 1.5 inch strips will be in the show notes below. But let me show you the quilts I made from the 2.5 inch strips and then the 1.5 inch strips. So, okay. So I'll just show you the baby quilt first, because that one, I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twin quilts. 6 twin quilts. Oh, let me get this out. Okay, and this is what they all kind of look like. This is a baby quilt. And the baby quilt, I did offset so that they kind of do a rivers and streams layout. So I don't know if they can see it better that way. But I used all of those crazy neutrals and low volumes to give it a very different look. Okay, now when we're doing the 1.5 inch, and that's very striking. It's very striking when it's the 1.5 inch ones. Ugh. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Okay, the one baby quilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 twin quilts. And I'll show you the twin quilt, because the twin quilt is laid out differently than the baby quilts. Now here, I'll just open up half of it. See, you can see how all of this, you know, beautiful, big, bold colors, you know, and all of the really cool neutrals. There's little Batman guys in here and ladybugs and puppies, but this is something you could take to college. And of course, you know, the same's on the other side, right? So that'll make a lovely donation. And the baby quilt, I decided to lay out differently. Okay, so this is an oversized baby quilt, and that's just laid out. I can't remember now what they call this layout, but it's basically all you're sewing your 4-patch of color together, right, all together, and you make your blocks, right? So this is a little bit bigger, so this will go from a twin into a toddler bed. So this is a pretty good donation. Yeah, it kind of looks like this thing is the Orphan Block Challenge now is, we're getting smaller and smaller. We're getting into the meat and potatoes more of it. I've got a couple of ideas I want to show you with these and the green ones here. And I found more blocks on top, and they're all the Ohio Star blocks. So I'll show you next, I'll show you how to do sashing and webbing at the same time. So that'll be a good skill for you to learn. So I hope you are enjoying this Orphan Block series. I'm cleaning out my room, and wow, if I got a pile of quilts to donate. I'm going to ask my husband if he can kind of do some kind of a slideshow of all the quilts, but we'll get them to you. Okay, we'll show them off to you. Okay, so until we see each other again, I hope you have an absolutely amazing week ahead. Okay, you guys take care. Bye. My husband and I would love to thank you for all of the amazing people that we have met along this crazy YouTube adventure that we've been having. We do free speaking engagements too, so if you're part of a guild and they're looking for, you know, people to talk and, you know, and chat with, you know, in their monthly meetings, tell them that I'm doing free ones just to help the guilds out, because it's been a tough time for the guilds as well. You know, share, like, and subscribe with your friends. You know, make sure that they're, you know, they get the word out on us. That's the best way you can do to help us out. So until we meet again, I want to thank you. Okay, goodbye.